Despite being only a miniature railway, Dobwalls Adventure Park in Cornwall proved to be one of the most significant and unique tourist attractions in the county, presenting an American-themed railroading experience in combination with venues and entertainment for all ages, and thus solidifying its place as one of the most notable quirks of Britain's railway scene for over 30 years. Unfortunately, Dobwall's position as a traditional family-run entertainment venue would not last, as in the face of highly competitive rivals springing up across the country in the form of major theme parks, combined with rising health and safety legislation, this jewel of the Cornish tourist industry quickly lost its audience and financial footing, thus leading to its tragic end in the summer of 2006. Dobwalls, known in Cornish as Foss and Mog, is a small village nestled in the gently undulating countryside of southeast Cornwall, and is situated approximately 3 miles to the west of the historic market town of Liskeard, with Dobwalls having long been part of a region characterized by its peaceful rural charm and centuries-old agricultural traditions. The origins of Dobwalls Adventure Park can be traced to Penmount, a substantial farmstead acquired by John and Barbara Southern, industrious and successful farmers who initially focused their efforts on dairy farming, a staple of Cornwall's agricultural output, but over time diversified into pig breeding, developing a thriving and productive enterprise. However, John Southern harbored a deep and abiding love for railways, as well as a profound admiration for the works of Archibald Thorburn, one of Britain's most celebrated natural history painters, with Thorburn's detailed and vibrant depiction of birds and wildlife having earned him widespread acclaim, while John Southern gradually became recognized as one of the foremost authorities on Thorburn's life and artistic achievements, amassing an extensive collection of his work. John Southern's fascination with railways was equally intense, and what began as a personal interest gradually transformed into something much larger, and in the grounds of Penmount, he began constructing a small-scale railway for his own enjoyment, laying tracks that wound their way through the property's picturesque landscape. As time passed, his private hobby steadily expanded, evolving from a modest backyard venture into a far more ambitious undertaking, and encouraged by the growing complexity of the railway and the interest it generated among friends and visitors, the Southerns decided to open the attraction to the public. By 1970, Dobwalls Adventure Park officially opened its gates, operated not only by John and Barbara, but also their sons Malcolm and Jim, who shared in the family's passion and enterprise, with the first railway line constructed being named the Rio Grande route, inspired by the Cumbres Pass line of Colorado in the United States. This route was not only ambitious in its design, but also highly innovative, featuring a steep gradient of 1 in 25, equivalent to a 4% incline, which at the time represented the steepest gradient ever achieved on a passenger-carrying miniature railway anywhere in the world, while the track, built to 7¼ inch gauge, wound its way through the dense woodland, recreating with impressive accuracy the rugged, mountainous scenery characteristic of the Colorado railroads. Visitors were able to travel through carefully crafted miniature landscapes that included intricate tunnels, towering wooden trestles, and deep canyons, with the attention to realism and the immersive quality of the ride quickly captivating the public's imagination, attracting visitors from across the country and establishing the park as a major highlight of Cornwall's holiday offerings. Encouraged by the overwhelming success of the railway, the Southern family sought to diversify and enhance the visitor experience further, and in 1972, they opened the Thorburn Art Gallery within the grounds of the park, with this gallery housing an extensive collection of his works, which was at the time the largest collection anywhere in the world. As visitor numbers continued to grow and the reputation of the park flourished, the Southern family embarked on an even more ambitious expansion, and in 1979, a second railway line was introduced, providing an entirely new experience for returning guests, with this new route being a faithful model of the Union Pacific Railroad's Sherman Hill line in Wyoming. Like the original Rio Grande route, it was constructed to a 7¼ inch gauge, but featured a slightly gentler, though still challenging gradient of 1 in 66, or approximately 1.51%. But despite the smaller climb, it was still considered steep for a miniature railway of this scale, with the Sherman Hill route introducing a different landscape, reflecting the vast open spaces, sweeping curves, and high-altitude passes of the Wyoming countryside. This second line allowed visitors to experience another distinct yet equally immersive railway journey, as the miniature trains passed over trestle bridges, through elaborate tunnels, and alongside intricately modeled canyons and rock formations, and together, the two railway lines offered an impressive variety of scenic routes that cemented Dobwalls Adventure Park's reputation as a truly unique and expertly crafted miniature railway attraction, drawing enthusiasts and holidaymakers alike for decades to come. The park's collection of rolling stock was an extraordinary and meticulously assembled assortment of miniature locomotives, representing some of the most iconic and powerful engines ever built by the great American railroad companies, with each locomotive being crafted with exceptional precision, using original engineering drawings and detailed blueprints from the full-size prototypes, before being painstakingly scaled down to fit the park's 7¼ inch gauge track. The steam locomotive fleet was particularly distinguished, at the center of which stood the Union Pacific's 4884X4008 William Jeffers, named after the Union Pacific Railroad's wartime president, with this locomotive being a replica of the legendary Big Boy class, which remains the largest and most powerful class of steam locomotives ever built, with the Dobwalls version of William Jeffers having been, and continues to be, the only fully operational passenger-carrying miniature of the Big Boy type in existence. Complementing William Jeffers were two other Union Pacific steam giants, including the 484 Northern-class locomotive 818 Queen of Wyoming and 838 Queen of Nebraska, with these striking locomotives paying tribute to the Union Pacific's highly successful FEF series, known for their speed, power, and distinctive smoke deflectors. The collection also included two representatives of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad's fleet of Hokkaido-type locomotives, with Rio Grande 282 No. 488, named General Palmer after the railroad's founder, and Rio Grande 282 No. 498, known as Otto Mears, named for the famed railroad builder and surveyor, with both engines capturing the rugged, narrow-gauge spirit of Colorado's mountain railroads, with their proportionally wide boilers, tall chimneys, and intricate running gear accurately replicated in miniature. While completing the steam roster was Freelance 262 Prairie-type locomotive numbered 88 and named David Kerwin after its designer, which, unlike the American prototypes, was a unique design built specifically for miniature railways. The diesel locomotive collection was equally remarkable, and dominating the roster was the Union Pacific DDA 40X No. 6908 Centennial, a model of the largest diesel-electric locomotive ever constructed, with the original DDA 40X class, built by EMD, being a twin-engined Leviathan designed for high-speed freight across America's plains. Joining it was the Rio Grande GP35 No. 3008 Matthias Baldwin, an intricately detailed replica of the versatile road switcher type common across America's regional railroads, while joining it was Santa Fe FP45 No. 5908 Pioneer, a model of the streamlined passenger diesel built for the adjacent Topeka and Santa Fe Railway, with its striking design, originally intended for the famous long-distance passenger trains of the American Southwest, being faithfully captured in miniature form. Rounding out the collection was Amtrak E8 No. 248 Spirit of America, which added a touch of post-war American passenger glamour to the diesel fleet, and faithfully captured the Art Deco style of the original E8s, as built by EMD in the 1950s, which were iconic with their sloping noses and stainless steel fluting, while the Amtrak livery added a contemporary touch to the post-nationalization American passenger railroad scene, complete with the iconic pointless arrow logo and bloody nose Phase 1 livery. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Dobwalls Adventure Park enjoyed a period of sustained success and prosperity, cementing its position as one of Cornwall's most popular tourist destinations, with the park's growing reputation being further enhanced in 1986 when it received a royal visit from Prince Charles, while beyond the railway and Thorburn Art Gallery, the park included nature walks, go-karting, remote-controlled boating, and a variety of slides and attractions aimed at the predominantly family-based visitor demographic. In 1997, the park sought to broaden its appeal to younger audiences by introducing a new feature by integrating Noel's house party character Mr. Blobby into selected areas of the existing park while preserving its core identity, with the Crazy Cavern indoor play area being transformed into a vibrant space filled with colorful ball pits, large play structures, and lively murals depicting the Blobby family enjoying the trains. Outside, the Blobby Mania stage provided regular live shows, and a specially designed pink chair was installed for meet-and-greet sessions where children could have their photographs taken with the character, while even the existing Supercarts track received a makeover, with pink-themed go-karts introduced to reflect the Mr. Blobby branding. Despite these efforts to modernize and diversify, by the early 2000s, Dobwalls Adventure Park began to encounter growing challenges, with the leisure industry becoming increasingly competitive as larger, heavily invested theme parks captured the public's attention, while changing tastes and expectations among visitors made it harder for traditional family-run parks to compete. At the same time, escalating operational costs, including stringent health and safety requirements, placed mounting financial pressure on the business, with these difficulties gradually eroding the park's profitability and stability, forcing the Southern family to make difficult decisions regarding its future. In 2005, the park's first major sign of winding down appeared when one of its much-loved steam locomotives, the David Kerwin, was sold to Eastleigh Lakeside Railway, thus marking the beginning of the gradual dispersal of the renowned locomotive collection that had once been at the heart of the park's appeal. By 2006, the situation had become unsustainable, and after more than 25 years of successful operation, it was announced that the Union Pacific Sherman Hill line would close, with its final train running on October 29, 2006, while at the end of that season, Dobwalls Adventure Park closed its doors entirely, initially with plans for substantial redevelopment. In June 2007, it was confirmed that the Rio Grande Cumbres Pass line would not reopen for the 2008 season, with ambitious plans having been drawn up to transform the site, proposing the construction of modern holiday lodges, a new arts centre, and various other facilities aimed at securing the park's financial future by diversifying its revenue streams. But these plans never fully materialized. While the go-kart track was demolished, various play areas were dismantled, and eventually even the Southern Gallery closed its doors, signaling the definitive end of the park as it had once existed. With little hope of reviving the business, the Southern family made the difficult decision to sell the entire locomotive collection through a sealed bid auction, with the collection, which had become globally recognized for its craftsmanship and historical accuracy, having carried nearly 7 million passengers during the park's decades of operation, making them not only mechanical marvels, but also important pieces of living history. Initially, the locomotives were sold to a buyer in Dorset for operation at Ploughman's Railroad, but when that railway ceased operations, the locomotives were exported to Australia, with several of them later finding new life at the Diamond Valley Railway and other locations, while others were placed into storage or preserved as part of private collections, while by 2012, the land that once housed Dobwalls Adventure Park was placed on the market, and the site was eventually redeveloped into an eco-friendly holiday village featuring log cabins, bringing a final close to the park's remarkable history. To conclude, Dobwalls Adventure Park, thanks primarily to its exceptionally unique provision of American-themed railroads and exactingly detailed locomotives, provided a perfect blend of entertainment, education, employment, and fond memories to millions of visitors over the course of its 30 years, and became one of the most significant tourist attractions in Cornwall. Sadly, the combined pressures of shifting leisure trends, rising costs, and the evolving landscape of the tourist industry meant that the traditional family adventure park, as was the fundamental foundation of Dobwalls, could not survive in a market now filled with corporate-backed and highly invested competitors, and thus, as a sign of the evolution away from the family-run business, this once staple of both Cornish tourism and the UK railway scene was brought to an unfortunate demise.